It's good to understand that from statistics, we have approximately 7.4 million MSMEs in this country. It's good again to note that these SMEs are employing approximately 15 million of the Kenyan employable youth. It's as well good to appreciate that 83% of the new jobs that are being created in this economy are being created by the MSMEs. It's as well good to note and to appreciate that 30% of the GDP contribution in this country is delivered by the MSMEs. Can we give ourselves a clap? So it's quite imperative that there should be consistent, growing conversations about how to support these great contributors to our economy. So, Daktari, when you launch institutions that recognize, reward, and encourage the spirit and growth of MSMEs, then you are launching the right thing that the economy is looking for. I should say, in future, we should look for a place whereby in the agenda of the government, today we are running the agenda for housing, health, and all that. We should lobby to a place where the principal agendas of the government will include the nurturing growth and development of the MSMEs. And that's why today I take pride when I sit or stand before you and speak about the strategies and the tips that we can put in place to ensure that we grow our businesses post the third birthday. It is right to say, and I appreciate the speaker that was standing here before me, that 75% of the MSMEs in this country die before the third birthday. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics say that only 10% of businesses that are launched in this country survive past the 10 years. So the question therefore be, what is it that kills our businesses? I've had a varied experience in growing and developing, financing, supporting, nurturing SMEs. What is it that kills our businesses? I know there are varied reasons that have been shared even in this platform. Access to affordable credit, access to markets and information. And there's quite a lot of that. And I remember with Daktari one time when we were launching and we were thinking about the women in business, when we brought women across the country together and we were asking them, what actually is your greatest need? You'll be surprised that financing was not number one. Access to information. And I'm talking about professional information about how you can launch a business, how you can strategize, how you can come up with what I call a solution-giving business was actually one of the greatest needs that we had in this country. The other thing was people narrowing down the varied ideas that are floating across this country. Kenya is a unique consumer. Kenya has quite a unique consumer behavior. I don't know whether you have noticed that when somebody opens, let's say an M-Pesa, the entire street gets green with Safaricom logo. I don't know whether you have noticed that now that we can import clothes from Turkey, then we have an entire street of Turkey clothes and the whole social media is abuzz with people that are offering clothing and design and all that kind of thing. Because we are a country of stiff competition. And our MSMEs are struggling to get themselves to a place where they get to do such business that is uniquely responding to a particular need in the economy. Every now and then, and let me say this, I appreciate the concepts that people are coming up with to unify their businesses, to make their business different and unique. The other day I went in my estate, just somewhere in a car wash, which is within a Total petrol station. And then there's this lady who has opened a fantastic cafe that has a rustic theme. There are no couches. There are big pillowcases and kind of, I don't know what you call it. There's some cushy pillowcases that are laid down on the ground in a very unique way. And the tables are these, I would say they are remodified pellets. You know the pellets that we have in the manufacturing they used to carry stuff with. And if you could look, I could see some uniqueness in that. And there is a company there that is near where we stay. And I took interest and I wanted to understand why the lady decided to come up with this. Trust me, she's offering chicken, beef stew, fish, and every other kind of meals that you can find anywhere. But she has decided to create something unique about her ambience that will attract particular people that have a high for something unique. And trust me, the senior leadership of the company that is nearest come to take food in our place. It's not expensive. But the reality is it's attracting a unique breed of people that have an eye of something rustic and something out of the norm. So what am I trying to say? It's not that we have a world, and I appreciate, she called it the universe of investment. It's not like that we have, and she put it rightly here, that universe is not so broad in this country. So chances are that some of the businesses we are thinking of doing tomorrow are actually businesses that are already existing, probably in the same environment we are. So the question therefore be, if you have to start a clothing line, if you have to start a cafe, if you have to start a wine and spirits, if you have to start whatever business you are starting, spare parts, a hardware, what would make your business unique and responsive? And what would make your business survive over time? Past the third birthday, like we have said. So when I was thinking about these things, I said, there are some soft tips in business that actually are responsible for business sustenance, stability, and longevity. Very soft, not rocket science, but they're the things that you put forward. If you ever got to understand that values alone can actually differentiate you between you and the next hardware. Just the way you do things. Customer experience. But this afternoon, this evening, I'm going to take us through just a few of these things. And trust me, some of the winning things in life is like, and I appreciate, I'm a Christian, and I love the Bible because it's both spiritual and practical. And the reason why we keep on telling our children not to lie, to tell the truth, and we drum that over and over and over again, is because it's proven that when we push the right knowledge in the minds of people, over time it sticks and starts reproducing. So I hope you're not sitting there waiting for Arnold to say something unique you've never heard. But probably I will say what you have heard differently. And I hope this time it sticks. And therefore it becomes part of your fundamental tips that build your business. I again want to appreciate, as I start and as I give the tips, that all our businesses here don't necessarily have a corporate setup. I want to appreciate some of these are family businesses. You started a business, your spouse is the next person who is supporting you, and you are progressing on it. There are some of the businesses here that have a semi-corporate feel. They have a structure in it. You have a few employees in that business, and you just want to understand how you can sustain this business. So when I speak about employees, I may not necessarily mean the people that you have hired and brought in your business. I may simply mean yourself and your partner. That may be your spouse. It may be your business partner. I may simply mean about yourself, your son, or the people that work with you in your business. Because I still tend to believe, and I will speak that down the line, that there should be a business that is being run by a single mind. One of the key tips of sustaining a good business for the people that recruit and hire is hiring the best people to represent your company. Trust me, your organization is as good as your people. We have had this over and over again, that people buy people. So when I talk about hiring the right people, I'm talking about hiring the people or working with a partner who understands why first you started that business. The other thing that you may consider to have longevity and sustainability of your business is to look for ways and opportunities of having multiple revenue channels for your business. I know sometimes when you start a business, you may not be scanning around and seeing what more you can do for that business to give you auxiliary revenues. But if you looked and you started a service and or a product and you offered maybe an after-sales service, that will charge. Remember, I know your company, some of you have photocopiers of these small machines. Today, even web hosting, including sustaining a Facebook page, you will need somebody secondary to do that for you. So it's looking how you can expand your business and give it auxiliary revenue, that it doesn't 100% rely on itself. Remember, we have said that there is the business in the business. There is a business incubation period. If within that period your business can be trying to help itself to survive, then you have great hope of longevity. Let me rush quickly on this. The other thing I would tell you is playing the long game. Now, one of the greatest reasons, if you check statistics, why businesses fail is the why. And I will say, one of the things you must understand when you start a business is the why. Today, there are enough Kenyans that are starting businesses from a subsistence mindset. You are starting a business to feed you, to pay your rent. You're not starting a business to grow an empire. So what will happen is that you will have short-term vision around your business. And then the biggest problem with the short-term vision is that you start compromising in quality, you start compromising in a lot of things. You start even getting yourself in quick deals. And remember, if today you are not dependable for the long run, then people will not invest in your business. And when I talk about investing is people will not consider you their partner in business. So when I talk about long term, do not sacrifice short term gains for long term longevity for your business. And sometimes to put some checks and balances just to understand whether you're on the right track. That's why I've said, I don't believe in a business that survives on a single mind. Today you can have a trusted partner that works with you just to check on you, that you can run through your mind with. And they try to see whether you are actually on the right track. Before businesses, and that's why, let's look at it this way. Let's start thinking of our small businesses from a corporate mindset. Why do businesses have boards? And sometimes these boards are people that are not directly involved or interested in the business. Because businesses are looking for sober minds that can cross-check and challenge their mind. That can cross-check and challenge their strategy. Oftentimes, before you reach a place you can appoint boards, you can just run your ideas and minds through a trusted friend. Because they can keep you in check and make sure that you are not running too fast for your business. You are not pushing yourself in deals that can collapse your business. Part of what I do as a banker is to offer advisory services to customers. And I want to tell you that is the hardest part of a relationship manager. I have been a relationship manager, and I think I'll be one for lifetime. Whether I become an MD, whether I become a CEO, whatever company, I think I would want to be recognized as a relationship manager, as a trusted advisor. Because this is what happens. I have seen blossoming businesses go down because people don't want to listen. I can give an example. I had this young man who was doing a very nice business. I started financing him. He was in animal feeds. And I have enough of these examples that I can give this evening. He was in animal feeds. Initially, he was buying from the Pembes of, Mombasa maize millers. And he had just an outfit. Then the business continued to grow. He started now blending his own brand of animal feeds. And he was doing very well. The young man started supplying the greater part of Kiambu County. He went to Nyeri County. I financed him first truck, second truck. We were even over 10 trucks. Then boom, county business came. And I remember sitting down with this guy and telling him, young man, you can't do this. He's my age mate. I'm telling him, you can't do this. Your business has not grown roots enough that you can tie up your capital in long-term investment as doing infrastructural works for the counties. Maybe look for something quicker, supplies that are quick to turn around and you can get your payments in the next 30, 45 days, 60 days, nothing more than that. You look for an alternative that is playing around the same payment cycle as your existing business. Because this is what is happening. You have raw materials to procure, you have the production period to look into, you have the shelf life of your product, and you have probably the credit that you are giving to your customers. You need not to lose sight of all that. Because the funding business is still the animal feed business. So whatever other auxiliary business you want to be involved with should not extend your turnover period more than you are currently experiencing. He couldn't listen. Of course, the deal was too good. And I know here, my friends, we have a number of us who have seen very lucrative deals with the county governments. Today, as we speak, the young man has not even a single truck, and he is no longer in animal feeds. His money is locked there. I've seen enough of this. I've seen somebody who was doing very well, very good hotel franchise. He sees his cousin who does very well in spare parts and all that. All of a sudden, he wants to sell everything, go to Dubai and bring spare parts. They have no knowledge of running spare parts. They crumple all over again. And he's back. This one is not out, but he's back in the initial outfit that he had. So let's run our minds and ideas through other people. The other thing for small businesses to survive for a longer period is managing your cash flows. Now, this is the other biggest snare we have today, and I've seen this. The other day I met one of my friends in pharmaceuticals. Luckily, he's doing some deals with the county government. And he came to my office because he wanted to buy a V8. Not that the business cannot afford, but these are cash flows from a transactional business that we are tying for a luxurious vehicle. And this was his mindset. He has gotten too deep dealing with these guys in the government and all that he wants to create an image. So oftentimes we are caught up with the desire. When our businesses start taking off, break even, and they started giving us returns, we quickly adjust our lifestyle. We move from Kasarani, we go to wherever it is you guys go. And we start growing like that. Then we realize that we don't want to crowd in these Toyota Harrier of ours. Then, Madam needs to have her own car again. And then down the line, we still need a smaller car for our children to go to school. And mark you, there's still a school bus there. We tie up cash flows of our businesses in mundane things that we cannot recall it back. Now, this is a challenge. When the business starts demanding the cash flow back, we realize that we can't backtrack our lifestyle. And that's trouble there. I'm just running through this. The other thing I would say, and I mentioned, don't compromise your values. Integrity is what you are throughout when nobody is watching. And people want to do businesses with people they can trust. If people can't trust you, then you will keep on having what I call pop-in clients. And the longevity of a business is sticky, sustainable clients. A client that has been buying from you year in, year out. That is license, and that is insurance for longevity for your business. So do not compromise. Values will set the tone, the vision of your business. In fact, if you have looked, including government, now they put those pull-up banners in the reception that speak about their mission statement and their values. Why are people so much interested in values? Because they are the fundamental epitome of any business. So you need to check your value system, your belief system, and align it with what you want to achieve for your business. And make sure that your partners in business are aligned with you on that, so that you don't run a clean business and your partner is shady and playing under the table. One of the challenges that is happening in the motor industry, and I have a number of dealers today who are suffering, is the under-dealings. And most of the under-dealings are not done from the director's level, they are done from the key man's level. And what do I mean by key man? Key man may not necessarily be the founder of the business. Key man may actually be the person who runs the business on a day-to-day basis. So the person you trust, the person who sustains your license, who is the chemist, that's a key man. No wonder today we have insurances that give key man insurance. So today you find that the head is legit, but the key man and his associates are shady, and they are trying to destroy the fiber of your business without your knowledge. And that's why it's critical when we talked about hiring the right people, you align your value system with your partners, with your employees, with your key men. Because if that one doesn't happen, you will have a business that can bloom within a short time. It will not see the 10th birthday. The other thing is, don't do everything yourself. I know for foundational businesses that are starting, I mean, you wonder, how then do I have somebody else do something for me? But when you realize that your business can probably automate some of its functions, that you can delegate some of your functions, allow other people to get involved in what you are doing. Sustaining a clear mental thought is purposeful, is deliberate. To decloak your mind, sometimes you have to set yourself free from some of the repetitive things that you do. Have somebody else do. Today you may not trust your employee, but they are very smart. Can I tell you something? I have a philosophy that there is no monopoly to knowledge. If you allow some of the people that are working under you to just come open and speak their minds up, you may actually find that the solutions to a number of things for your business are actually at your arm's length. They are just in the house. But today, you know, the issue is we want to hire somebody and we just make them employee in our minds. We never imagine they have a head of their own. And we have seen employees who have actually come out of companies and businesses, established their own franchise and outdid their bosses. If we were just wise and smart enough to tap their mind, appreciate it, and probably partner with them. The biggest of corporates today are giving what we call employee shares, because they are realizing For us to tap into the innovation and the brain of these people, we need to make them part of what we are doing. So we need to open our minds broader. Don't compete your employee. Incorporate them in your thinking, appreciate them. And employees are like our parents. They don't demand too much. Most times it's just you making sure that they know you value them. And then making sure that they know there has a free flow of thought and conversation is very friendly, and they can tell you things that you may not see. The mind for your next level in your business may just be sitting with the people there, trust them, and start investing and start siphoning. There is no monopoly to knowledge. The other thing is what we are busy here talking about, succession planning. What is succession planning? Succession planning is simply ensuring that if you were not there, somebody else can do exactly what you are doing for your business. It is as simple as that. In the corporate world, where I am as a regional manager, I'm required to develop a succession arrangement. It's so broad to the extent that I have somebody who I say is ready now, who should be ready in a year's time, who should be ready in 3 years' time. I have a chain like that, and I'm doing modules of development. I am shadowing them. Like now, I am in office, but the reality is, I have already checked in somebody. If you did emails to me, there is probably, you see that I'm deflecting them to somebody. It's purposeful, it's very deliberate. The biggest problem we have in this economy today, and that's why, of late, you have seen some of the biggest retail franchises in this country coming down. You already know from the newspaper, the new one, that is in succession trouble. Let me tell you, it is not succession trouble. It is the fact that that embodiment was not done in the right time. Allow me to use, I don't know, my brother on this side, I don't know, by looking, I can't say whether you are an Indian, because you know you can be Caucasian and coming from another side. But one of the things we learned from you guys is the Indian community is how they do succession planning. That's where they beat us fair and square. They bring their children. If this guy opens a restaurant, the son will not come to be the assistant manager. He will come to the office. He can be in charge of reservations. The next time he will be in procurement. The next time he will be in food and beverage. The other time he will be in housekeeping. And you can never know whether he's the son of the boss, because the boss does not allow that to happen. By the time that young man goes full circuit, he has hotel operations in his hands like this. So what we are doing, my sister who came from abroad, is we are sending our children. We train, we put you in good school, we send you to abroad, you go there, hustle. And here as parents, we are raising an enterprise and we realize it's big enough. And then we call you. And on the other side, probably, unlike you who was busy with your things in boards and all that, some of these kids, you know, they are still living in stipend from their parents. They have accounts they are receiving, their credit cards are funded from this country, and they are using them abroad. And then you want to pull that dude here and start giving him directorship in your company. You are in big trouble. I have today one of my customers who has a major hotel. I wouldn't mention because he has hotels in the counties. He has hotel chains in the counties, Kitui, Makueni, in those places. And today this lady is so frustrated. She is in her 60s and she wants desperately to retire, and she realizes none of her children can take over her business. So today she has appointed a niece and a nephew. Why? She educated the niece. She never went to college. After Form 4, she started doing the menial work there. She has learned the business, and she's now in charge of reservations and everything. The nephew again came there as a driver, did other things. He got into the business. He's now the guy who has connections in the counties, in the NGOs, and the guy who is bringing the businesses from there. So she has just simply decided to give them shareholding. What a pity. So succession planning is deliberate. When you start realizing that your business is expanding, start envisioning, whether it is first or second generation, the people that you want to be part of that business and incorporate them in the business the earliest. I work in the bank. Today we have corporate, big company accounts that we are not able to do anything. There is a lot of money sitting there. Some of it we even send it to the asset recovery team because the children cannot agree on it and nobody can run that business. I can tell you enough of businesses by name, sadly so. So we need to build a culture of inviting the right people in our business. Today, don't underestimate your spouse. Some of us are doing business with other people and we have never even invited our spouses to learn the business that we are doing. And then when we knock, when our creator knocks, there is this lady or there is this husband who is left here and they have no knowledge of running a dental clinic because it was the wife who was the dentist and she had a team of other dentists. I went to a hospital in Meru known as something Kerua, is St. Teresa Kerua. It's a sister's hospital. It's a Catholic franchise. And the sister who is in charge, the CEO of that hospital, has no medical background. But trust me, that lady knows that business like this. She will take you through every department, explaining to you things that are happening, including in the medical terminologies. She has invested to learn the business. So today, you may have your dental farm as a man or as a woman. Don't underestimate that your wife has no dental background that she won't understand. Take her through the business. Take your son, take your child, take whoever it is. Take your business partner, even in the technical understanding of your business. So that if you were not present, somebody can do it. If not so, start developing key men. I start talking about I just picked a dental or a hospital and because it's specialized. And sometimes there is a temptation to feel because you are a doctor and your partner, your spouse, or whoever it is, they are not doctors, you feel they would not get to understand this. However technical your business is, running a business is not about technicality. It's about the brains, the understanding. So I think that is, I won't belabor that. And my last point, because there are many and I don't want to keep you bored with this long conversation, is compliance. Now, this is one of the biggest challenges we have in this country. And the biggest compliance hurdle that we have today is tax compliance. And today, if I interact with your financials, if you bring me financials and I realize there are no provision for taxation, I immediately label you high risk. Immediately. And trust me, I will lose appetite on you immediately. Do you know why? Because I have enough accounts, even as I speak right now, that have been clamped. And we call it clamping because when you get that letter from KRA, stopping transaction from that account, I am telling you they are all transactions. If I had given you a loan, which is due, you pay on 22nd, and I receive that thing on 17th, 27th, we will not debit our loan repayment. That's how bad it is. You go down, I go down too. So I'm not telling you guys that I'm not here as an agent of KRA telling people to go and pay their taxes. I wish they could hear me say this, they will pay me some bonus. But I'm simply saying, use the provisions within the tax regime rightly and pay what is appropriate. I know we all went to school. We understand the conversation about tax evasion and tax avoidance. So we know that. We know tax evasion is illegal, right? It's illegal. But tax avoidance is legal. Do you even know sometimes that in your returns, you can actually declare your tax and still not pay and defy it? If you are in trouble, do you know that? Do you know if you are struggling with cash flow, you can actually declare and defer? You know that in accounting? Ask your accountant, there's deferred tax. So you need to know these things early in advance. Please work with a good accountant. Just sometimes appreciate the experts outside there. And this is a problem, and I will speak it on loudspeaker. For the longest time, the tax regime in this country was managed from a cartel point of view. How many of us queued to renew their driving license in KRA? Times now, and you needed to know somebody to pass the queue. That has never changed. So for the greatest period, we have had tax teams in the city of Nairobi who are not actually tax compliant experts. So what they could do was quickly get your books, understate you, and they thought that when they understate your turnovers and understate your earnings, and then you pay more, and their way to whatever it is they do, and give you a tax compliance, they have gotten it. Today, under the law, KRA can quash up to 7 years of tax compliances. 7 years, uko nazo unasema, but I have compliance, they come and quash and re-audit you again. So I'm simply saying, compliance, tax compliance is critical for this economy. Paying taxes is critical for this. How you pay, how much you pay may not be a discussion for me right now. But I'm simply telling you there are avenues in which you can manage your tax compliance in a good way, in a legal way, and you survive. I cannot tell you how many businesses today. The other day, let me just say this in closing. Mr. MC, I'm just closing now. I was struggling with a doctor who has a very big hospital, I think around 26-bed hospital, and the account has been blocked. And I asked him, and he tells me that the money that he pays the visiting doctors, the lady who was doing that, I know you understand that. You know, when you go and do your locums in these other hospitals, I mean, hospitals today don't need to employ full-time doctors. They just need to know you are a doctor, you know, you go do checkups and all that. Whatever they pay you, you need to, it's taxable. And this guy says he has not been taxing, and I thought that was not correct. Because if he has not been doing that for years, and here is KRA asking for 18 million, I thought this was not right. So the other thing is just to understand the taxes applicable for your business. Property taxes, excise taxes, employment payroll taxes, franchise gross receipt taxes, taxes on dividends. I think we need to understand this, because there is always this fundamental truth. And it says, there are only two things that are certain in life, and tax is one of them. Only two things, right? Other things are compliances. I mean, basic compliances that in licenses, permits. You may not have trouble with that, but trust me, you'll have trouble with taxation. So ladies and gentlemen, there is quite much we can talk about sustaining businesses for longevity, building businesses, franchises that outlive us. We may have this conversation on a longer term, including now how do you shape strategy for long term, because we have not dealt on strategy bit. We have just talked about the tips. But in the future, Daktari, now we will look at how then we incorporate business strategies that outlive, of course, the changes. Like now, remember what we just did the other day. We have just come from, or we are still within, now I've seen we are talking about the fifth wave. Now, how some businesses have survived the COVID environment is an aspect of the strategy that they have been running, and how flexible that strategy has envisioned the shocks of different changing environments. We can talk about that one on a broader view. Today I was just talking about the elementary tips on building a sustainable business franchise. I hope it helped. God bless you, Richard.